And we're back. It's Tuesday. We're bringing you a special edition of the Ascend Business Show, and it's November 2nd. Today, we're going to get right into credibility. It's the speed factor in social selling and relationship building. We're going to get right into it. Sherry, what we're talking about, 60 seconds.
Power to pay. Power to pay.
Welcome back to the new version of the Ascend Business Show. I'm your host, James Jacoby, with my co-host, Bill Walden. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Always having fun, always doing something new. That's what it takes, guys, in business, right? Like if you're static in this day and age, if you're static for a week, you're too slow in some of your sales and marketing, methodologies. You always got to be testing in today's age. If testing is not a part of your culture, we got to talk about that. There's just too much to learn. There's too much to uncover to figure out in your business model for what you sell. What are all the right things you can do to measure in your marketing and your sales that makes you convert faster, that gets in front of your prospects faster, that helps you drive clients and conversions faster and better, and really grow and scale your business. So we're going to talk about that today, and which a really important part of this is credibility.
James, I'm just so delighted to be with our audience. Good to see y'all. And really wanted to hit this topic home. And I love what you were saying, James, about, injecting speed into an organization and, certainly credibility being a part of that. I think the pandemic was a very pure example of companies that were ready to make the digital transformation, to be able to meet buyers where they were. I mean, you have to sell the way buyers want to buy. There's no other equation, right? We've tried it all. And, I applaud leaders of organizations that said, hey, listen, we have to be more entrepreneurial. I think, a couple more bricks that could be laid on that path was, okay, well, what does that mean for our culture? I love what you said, James, about that culture, because if that's all talk, sales has to go be entrepreneurial, we're still going to 9 to 5 it over here and, take the hour lunch and, kind of punch the card. That's not going to work. And companies are realizing that agility is a top-down phenomena, and it relies on the individual. And that's what I'm saying. The clients that we're working with that are committed to talent and bringing the right people in the organization, and then they'll figure out the job, are the ones that are winning and have made that digital transformation, have crossed that divide, and are excelling and exceeding expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Because they trust the process. They trust the people. Hey, we hired right.
That's right.
Hey, we've got, we had nothing to do but work on our messaging for 18 months, right? It's crisp, and we're doing all the right things, and we're doing right by our people, the communities we're operating in. We're trying to be good citizens all around. But hey, at the end of the day, it's business, and we want to do it fast. We want to do it credibly, which is the topic of today. So I'm fired up.
No, it's awesome. I mean, the good news is if you're behind, and you might be, if you really want to accelerate in your social selling abilities, your effectiveness for you and your team, there's no better time to start than right now. And I'll tell you, the great thing about the digital business space is it's fast. It will continue to be faster and faster. But that also means that if you just start really leaning into it and really just, kind of almost forcing yourself to adopt and pivot in a way some of your internal business systems to do more digital marketing and sales with your social channels, you can get acceleration really quickly. You'll start to get attraction really quickly with the right people that you want to talk to. And that's the key here, guys, is a lot of people still have social media channels that are not designed to really talk to the audience you want to talk to. They're just kind of out there. You're just kind of throwing stuff up and saying, all right, I'm making posts or I'm connecting with people and hope it works. Hope is not a strategy. We all know that. And there's a very scientific way that we're talking about here, and we're going to get into today with how to really build credibility properly for your social channels, so that when buyers see you, you saw the caption in the post that you're reading right now as you watch this. It's, do you want to get thumb scrolled, or do you want someone to stop and be like, ooh, I gotta read more. This sounds great. That's what you want, right? Your profile is your website. No one's going to go to your website from social media right away. No one does that. They check out your profile first. They check out your content. There's engagement that's going on. That comes, the website comes second. The emails and the phone calls, all that other stuff comes actually second or third or fourth. So your profile is your website. And so we're going to talk about that today on how to do this right. It sounds so basic and it sounds like not that important. It is really, really important that you get this right. And Bill's going to tell you why.
Yeah, thanks, James. And today, gang, we're going to talk about multiple platforms for you to be successful with as you look to maximize your own personal presence and your company's presence in social media. We're going to really focus on LinkedIn today. I think when we ask the question, most of our clients and prospects, everyone's saying, well, gosh, what percentage of your prospects are on or in LinkedIn? And I haven't heard anyone say under 90%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 90% plus. So we're going to focus on that today. And I want to come to this credibility piece, because the first thing someone sees, and you do it, right? Everyone that's watching this today has been asked to be a connection on LinkedIn. And I wish I could dialogue with you, and please do so in chat today. Love to have you think about the folks where you said yes, other than, hey, maybe you're in a good mood, you're feeling, somewhat altruistic. Yeah, sure. Why not? More the merrier. I'll connect with this person. Or a time maybe when you didn't, where the overture was, you're starting at the wrong place. I'm not the right person. I'm not interested in, wow, this is a little pushy or a little self-promotional or somewhere in between. Or the situation that I've had on occasion, and hopefully that James and I create for the folks that we reach out to, is, wow, this is interesting. I clicked on the infamous two powerful words today. I'm going to have you write down in somewhere in your notes today, or emblazoned in your mind, is view profile.
Mm-hmm.
That hot link is the hottest link to an experience that may or may not happen. And today we're all about the how, and also about giving you that control. So let's talk about your profile. We'll start right at the top. Let's go top down.
Yep.
And we have the LinkedIn profile master and James Jacoby with us today. So I'm glad to have him support my conversation, because his is awesome. It starts with the banner photo. What I mean by that is, we process 60% of information we process is processed visually. And if you think about a profile, it's the first place people go is the banner of your profile. That's a lot of control for you. So that has to have the right theme, industry theme, role theme, what you stand for, what your organization stands for, the industry that you're in, the thought leadership that you and your organization provide. It has to be tangential to what you're doing. So that's banner photo. And I get really creative. I swap mine out. James does too. If we can do it better, we're going to.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago, we had on our podcast, again, the banner maestro, Dr. Jacoby, created this beautiful graphic for our podcast that you can see up on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify, and several others, the graphic was so interesting to me. I threw that in the banner. I thought that was really great. And it was another great way to kind of promote the podcast, another way to access kind of our thinking and thought leadership for you. But I thought the graphics were so compelling that I threw it up there. I had to put it up there. I thought it was really kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really powerful for you. James, any other thoughts on banner photos? I mean, you get really creative. Again, it needs to be thematic, not a lot of copy, but if you want to put some copy, James, what would you say to folks in terms of how to tread at all in the copy aspect of a photo versus just the photo alone?
Yeah. So photo is, think about it. If you have technology as a product that you sell, get a picture of the technology in your banner. Like, you want to really show as much as you can without being overwhelming in your picture on your banner, and the captions is crucial. Like, have your logo up there, yeah, but have a caption that really is like the bullseye for what your audience wants to figure out. Like, if you can nail that positioning statement on what is it that you do, that's the end result your clients want all the time. Get that positioning statement, that quick caption in your banner, because that's the first thing your clients are going to see. And if they see that up top and they say, "Yep, that's it. That's what I want," then they're going to read more. So you got to create curiosity out of the gate, or you're toast.
That's great. Let's talk headshot, right? That's
Yep.
the next piece there. You want to, and again, I don't want to spend anyone's money. And with the quality of smartphones today, you can get a really good picture of yourself. I would just say some do's and don'ts around that. I would say the don'ts. This isn't a picture where you cropped yourself either from a wedding photo or a barbecue photo or, your weekend softball team. Wouldn't do that, right? It's about capturing you, whether it's indoors or outdoors, something that really represents you, and you determine how you look and feel, whether it's a picture where you're smiling or not. Again, who you are. So, and also high definition. Again, the highest definition that you could use that LinkedIn will accept, for that area on the site. They do have some size restrictions that escapes me right now, but the highest quality pixelation you can use for a headshot, and that's a great place. You want it to capture the natural you, not a stoic you, not a posing you. Any other thoughts on that, James, around a headshot?
No, you nailed it. But I would just say, on average, smile is going to perform better than no smile. It's more welcoming. The energy comes off more receptive to be inviting versus not. So I definitely recommend a smile picture.
Yeah, frowns are bug spray, I'll admit.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to your name. Let's talk about this. We were riffing on this on the podcast yesterday. I laugh all the time. My full name is William F. Walton Jr., spelled out Jr., but everyone knows me as Bill, right? So on my profile, it's Bill Walton. That's what people know me as. So I put that. So what do people know you as? Because in social media and search engine optimization, your name is going to pop up how it's routinely seen in the ether space.
Mm-hmm.
So don't fight it. Put the name,
Yep.
the name that is out there. Did I get that right, James? Sound about right?
You did. Yep.
On name.
Nailed
Super. Well, let's go next now to headline and title. And this is where there's a little bit of subjectivity here, but I want to provide some coaching more so than some hard and fast rules. But obviously, under name, you want to include a headline in your title, but you may want to add some explanation if your title is somewhat either anonymous or doesn't say much. It could be somewhat vanilla, like vice president. So if there's another aspect of your work that is important, I would add that. So James and I are speakers. We are trainers. We love learning. We're great facilitators. We've also, though, as part and parcel of why you're seeing this show today, is that, we're thought leaders. I like to think we're thought leaders. We're trying to provide some thought, but we're also giving back to this sales enablement community, this digital selling community. So, part of that is we want to reflect that in the title, not so much, hey, I'm a thought leader, but more importantly, what we actually stand for and what we're actually doing in the space. So that's the headline and title. James, what would you add to that? Because I really like yours too on your profile.
Yeah, just like right here, right? It's cool to have if you're like, VP or CEO or whatever your position is, that's fine. We can see that quickly when we look through and search for people like you. But I really want to know right away, like, what is it that you do? Not like your industry that you're in, like staffing or tech or whatever. Like, no, how do you help clients? Like, help me understand your
Boom.
differentiation, your value right now. Like, tell me in one sentence, like, what's your value? How do you help people? What's the problem that you solve, or what's the outcome you help them get? Get that in a tight headline. That will resonate so much better for people that are scrolling your profile.
Well, that's a great segue to the next piece of your LinkedIn profile, which is a summary. And I would recommend that you break it down into 4 parts, but keep it pithy. And here's what I mean by that. The summary should include the what you do and who you do it for. So that's one. Number 2 is the problems you solve and the needs that you address. So that'd be number 2. Number 3 is the impact that you're having on your space for certain types of clients, title and role, geography, however you want to distinguish your clients from others, who you serve and who you do well. So that's the impact you're having. And then 4 would be some insight into your secret sauce. So for James and I, we have the Ascend AI platform. We have our sales enablement tech stack. If you had to turn the triangle upside down or the pyramid upside down, we have a sales enablement tech stack. But within that, we have 3 to 4 capabilities that really shape and form a platform. And then we talk about those pieces of the platform individually. So that's a way, and we really talk about who we're serving. And the add-on that I would say in the summary, be cautious with this one though. You want to somehow, as part of the credibility piece, let your audience know why clients choose to work with you, what you think they would say.
Mm-hmm.
So for James and I, man, they really know our space. Boy, they're easy. They're total salespeople. They're easy to download themselves into our culture, our process. We didn't have to educate them. That's one angle. I think some clients would say that about us. Or we've got a different perspective. We work quickly. If we don't have the technology, we researched it. We're acting as thinking partners to clients, not just either sales guys or trainers. So, we've worked hard for that. So those are some distinctions that you can also put in your summary. And I would keep it to, maximum 200, 300 words. Try to shoot for that. If you have to go a little longer to 500, that's okay.
Yep. And use white
That's
space.
really important.
Use white space too, because you can't really change the font size on your profile, but you can change the white space. So it's easier to read for somebody.
Boom.
So that's it. And you can use the, symbols if you need to kind of accent stuff, like a dash to make bullet points, or a star, or whatever you want. You can even use emojis in this day and age, but really have it spaced out clean. So it's easy to read, but it nails these 4 points, because this is what you want your buyers to know about you.
So that's your summary. And then now you want to include any work product or projects. And again, working with your compliance department in what your organization will allow you to share. So for example, if you look at the work product or projects that James and I have listed on our profiles, it's copies of this show, it's our podcasts, it's our executive briefings. We have some freemiums, meaning a premium kind of downloads and insights that you can have access to, in addition to various other posts that we've created or thought leadership that we've shared. But it's all pointing to the middle of what you do. It's not a thing here, a thing there, an asset here, an asset there. It's all part of this mosaic, this alchemy that you've created, this credibility profile of what you stand for, what you think, and what you can offer the space that you operate in your client. So work product and projects are very important. But again, working with compliance, ask your organization first in terms of what's appropriate to share. But folks want to see that, and that's a great window. And if nothing else, you would like to have someone learn something if they came to your profile.
And one here's an easy one, guys. What if it's a service or a product that you sell? So if it's a piece of technology, if you're a service-based company, talk about either if you're service-based, what is it like to work with you? Like, what is that experience like? You can articulate that. You can show that. A video is the best. Or if you're a product, show me how it works. Like, show me a quick how does this work? Because I know from reading now what you do and how you help, but you're positioning a piece of technology potentially. Show me how it works. Like, give me a quick boom. This is why you should take a look at this. Here's what it does, and here's how easy it is for you to use to get you where you want to go. Like, those are some really cool value added pieces of content you can put right there so that it's starting to educate your buyer on what it would be like to work with you, what it would do for them, how it would work. That answer, you're starting to answer a lot of questions with using the right content there. And I'll give you a one more bonus tip that's really powerful is SEO, right? If your company is doing SEO and you're trying to optimize your website to be searched and found, if it's not you doing this, if it's someone on your marketing team or even a vendor, do this. We just talked about this with a prospective client this morning. Is go ask for the last SEO report that they gave you. They can pull a new one up right now. Get a recent SEO report, and in there it's going to give you anywhere from about 30 to maybe up to 100 keywords that you're using right now to position your brand online, to be found through Google search, to be found on search tools. Look at that keyword list and make sure that those keywords are in your profile and in your content. You will now help optimize your profile from a search perspective with keywords. And what I mean by that is also if you put an article, let's say in your featured content, if you write an organic article on LinkedIn, you can write articles. Those are technically blogs that will rank in Google through LinkedIn. So if you want to really connect your profile to your big website strategy and have that connect really well, make sure your keywords are matching. And if you've done it right, before this, if you've done the homework on what keywords you want your audience to find you with, they should be findable in your profile. And that also kind of leads into hashtags. I might be skipping a step, but hashtags is the next one. Right?
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about our experience, right?
Yeah.
And I think part of that is hashtags as well. You want to use relevant industry keywords. Now, the easiest way to do that is to Google industry keywords for blank blank industry. You'll get a lot. There's another resource called SpyFu, spyfu.com. It's a pay for service, but I believe you can get some freebies with them. And James, there's another service out there. It escapes me. But the point there is that you really want to tap into the industry keywords and hashtags that are relevant and avoid resume speak like I'm really focused, I'm experienced, I'm motivated, passionate. It just doesn't say enough. And it's a hair sophomoric. You really want to focus on how you speak about your experience. And I would say that as you start listing the chronology of your background, sell the verb, not the noun.
Mm-hmm.
What did these positions do? Every single company you work for, a job that you did, what did you do? How did what you did contribute to the higher mind? Not the functional utility of the execution of the organizational objectives, which is, total resume speak. No one wants to know what that is. And not so much accomplishment oriented. What was the importance of the work? What did your work contribute to? In absence of you, what couldn't have been completed? So that's a great way to tailor your experience, because there's a story. And the smart visitors to a LinkedIn profile, they don't start at the top, they start at the bottom. I'm really curious about someone's pathway.
Yep.
Oh, they went here, they went there. That's an interesting background. Oh, curious about that decision, because everyone has a story.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you're smart and you're interested and you You got to a certain, part in your career. I did at 15 years. I said, I'm not doing the sales leadership thing anymore. I'm going into training and development. I chucked it all. I had a 20-year path that was laid out for me. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So that was seminal, but I'm glad I did it. I wouldn't have been here, with you all. So that's something to think about as well. So you have, what I would say also too is find some profiles of people that you admire. I actually sent an email to a client and asked her, it was a great excuse to have a conversation, if I could use the format of her profile. She was in sales enablement for a large financial services company, and she had changed it recently, and I just kind of looked over it. I remember I was not on my phone. I was on my computer on a big screen, but I was so taken aback by the way she spoke about herself and the business and what she does. It was elegant, simplistic, and powerful. I'm still talking about it. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
so this matters. I mean, we're having a conversation about it now. This matters.
And another way, this is a little more advanced, and if you want, if you guys like what you're hearing and you want some help or some insights on your profile, I'm going to throw this up here. But just email us, shoot us an email at info@Ascend Advisors, and we'll take a look at your profile. We'll give you some quick insights. If you want some quick feedback, we'll give you a free audit on your profile. We'll let you know what's good, what's not, what we recommend to change. Just shoot us an email at info@ascendadvisors.com. So an advanced version here, if you use Navigator, Sales Navigator, what you could also do to kind of check to see if you're positioning your brand properly, it's just like SEO. It's just like Google. The whole reason everyone works on search engine optimization is because we want to teach the algorithm. We want to teach Google to interpret our business the way we want to be found. We don't want, if we're a tech company, we don't want Google to say you're a cleaning company, right? We want to teach Google what we are. And Google's going to tell you, well, if you want me to interpret you as a tech company, then you got to talk about this, this, and this in your keywords. Because if you don't, I'm going to think you're something else. Same way in Sales Navigator, search your profile in search Sales Navigator, pull up your name. And what you can do in search is you can actually click on this little dot. I'll have to show you in a slide, but you can say view profiles just like this. And LinkedIn will scrape and send you and show you 100 profiles that look just like the one you like. So do it on yourself. See if LinkedIn interprets who you are and who they associate you with in 100 different ways, and see if those people match what you are. Because while you want to be different, you want to be searchable. So if done right, your profile should align with those other 100 profiles to a degree, so that algorithm now knows, that you are this kind of person. So that's a little hack, but that's a great test to see if your branding and positioning and your wording you're using is in line with where you want to be found.
Yeah, that's awesome, James. I would say the last piece of this to finish it out would be a couple things. Education, certainly. If you have a bachelor's degree, a master's, whatever that is there, any special recognition, certainly. Not a big fan as you move through your professional career of having to list your GPA. Don't think you need to do that. But if you are magna cum laude or summa, you might want to mention that. Volunteer work is huge, especially today. So I would definitely highlight that. In particular, if you're on any committees or you are on a board, something that's really powerful. And certainly your recommendations, both received and given. That's very powerful on your profile, because folks are going to check that out. We're curious cats. If you survive the view profile threshold and folks got down to the end, you've done a pretty good job. And those last pieces matter. And you can have conversations about that. I remember, gosh, I'm going back a few years, but there was a gentleman I was going to meet with, and he had included his athletic background when he was in college. And I know where he went to school, huge athletic school, very proud of their history. And he was on the diving team, and he was a captain and a varsity letter winner for 3 years. And we got into the conversation and we're exchanging pleasantries. And I said, how did you do it? knowing that he'd have no idea what I was talking about. He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, I saw that you were captain of the diving team at blank blank university, and I want to know how you did it. How did you manage your course load with being in a competitive program, being the captain, and probably, that was probably an 80-hour a week commitment. And he laughed. He's like, "Yeah, that was really tough. I don't know how I did it. I don't know if I'd be able to do it today." And the conversation got off to a totally different, better level of conversation. It felt more comfortable. So that's a way that you can have, and I would do it authentically, which I did. A way to kind of remember some element of someone's background. I just was looking at someone's background today, and they were on a board, the national board, of which I was on a regional board of a charity in the local area. James and I are based in New Jersey, so I know that we're going to have something to talk about when we eventually meet. So that's how you can use this last piece: education, licenses, volunteer work, any recommendations. Don't forget that. That's pretty powerful.
Yep. I was just looking at or rounding out the list here. Hashtags, right?
Yes.
Hashtags. So if you're familiar, obviously, with Instagram or Facebook, especially Instagram, heavily use of hashtags is really important to fine tune who you want to be found by and how to connect with the like-minded people you want to. Same thing on LinkedIn. You can actually type in the search bar up top a hashtag of something, and LinkedIn will tell you how many followers that hashtag has. So one of the things that I made a comment about this in another show is, while it's cool to make a hashtag for your own brand, it doesn't necessarily help you because no one's searching for it really, unless it's a huge brand. Okay, nothing against your brand, but we want to be found. So research some hashtags of where you want to be associated with. Maybe it's leadership, maybe it's sales, maybe it's marketing, maybe it's construction, maybe it's tech. Search different words that LinkedIn has for hashtags. It'll tell you how many followers it has. And that's good because now you can start to be associated with that hashtag's content, and more people that want that content will find you. And that's what you want. You want to be found. So think about, 3 to 5 hashtags at most that you need for this, not 30. 3 to 5 hashtags that you want to be known for, and have those in your profile. Have them in your about section. And then people can start to rank and see it that way.
Yeah, let's circle this back to why we wanted to do this for you all today. More and more, folks, we're going to be using social platforms for business development and relationship development. The last thing I want you all to have to do is work too hard to gain acceptance, to gain entree, and to start conversations. So that's James and I were thinking about you today, is to give you that accelerator, which is your own personal credibility, and do it in a way that, in a credible way, to build your credibility, because we're seeing types of profiles on LinkedIn. There's typically 3 to 4 that we see. The one that I see often is what I call chrome and glass, meaning you have no cues. It's, I was here, I was a vice president. I was here, I was a vice president. And just, the time, the date, and that's it. Can't really learn a lot. And maybe that's intentional. But today, that could be a liability, especially if you're in a role where you have to extend influence or be part of business development, which it just seems like, unless you're on the manufacturing line, you're part of business development today. The other type of profile I see is one that is, I call a look at me profile, which is all about celebrating your own personal accomplishments. So that's something to be mindful of when you think that you're building the credibility. It should default to the third type of profile, which I love, is one that's dedicated to an industry or two or sub-industry, reflecting your thought leadership or your company's thought leadership. You're inviting inquiry. You're posting on social media. You're constantly offering ideas, and thinking you've got this giving hand is always full kind of mindset. And that's the kind of profile I like, because it's open. It feels accessible. And I think that's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy that has a profile that even looks all you did all the right things here, right? Like you may have this out laid out perfectly the way we talked to you today, but if you're not posting ever, you're kind of like a ghost. Like no one sees you as active. And people need to see that you're alive. This is a social platform. And so
Hey James, can I add to that for a second?
yeah.
What I see and what I hear others say about a lack of posting is that you're disconnected
Mm-hmm.
and that you don't have a point of view. What are you actually doing? Right? So it's
Yeah.
almost rare today for me to see a profile that's either not active or not fresh. And you know what a fresh profile looks like. The graphics are intentional. The language is intentional. If something is important, it gets pinned to the top of the profile.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just
No, well, a lot of people struggle with this, because they think it's too hard to post. It takes too much time to post. They don't see the value in it because they're busy. Like I could give you 20 more, reasons why people don't do stuff. But the truth is, guess what? When you're thumb scrolling, you're watching someone else's brand. Why not have someone watch yours? Like you're missing out on real estate, right? Because you're not posting, you're watching someone else that took the time to post. But if you're not sure on what to say, you like people that you thumb scroll. Like there's definitely people that when you thumb scroll and look at people's content, there's folks that you like and the style that they do it and the topics that they cover. So study those people. Like pick 3. It doesn't have to be a lot. Pick 2, 1. Pick someone that you really like and how they present themselves online. If that's the branding that you want to have for your company, study them. Start to write posts like they do. See if that's authentic for you. See if that's a voice that comes through right away. Your audience will tell you. Your audience will resonate or not. They'll engage or not. But I think that's the easiest way to just start to learn how to get going is just do what you like, because like attracts like, right? You're liking their stuff. So if you want to communicate in a similar way that's appealing to you, there's going to be people that like the way you communicate with your version of it. Do that and really start to figure out your own genius, so to speak, of who you are on social, on LinkedIn. And that's building authentic connections. Then now now you have an authentic voice coming through. So when they look at your profile, they have a lens now of that voice on your profile. It comes to life more because you're doing that next part. So we'll cover more of this in some future lives, that engagement and posting strategy. But I just wanted to leave a kind of a next step there to think about as we keep moving.
That's great, James.
So we're gonna do another show this week. We'll probably get one in on Thursday. If you like this, we're gonna continue this thought track because the profile is the beginning stages, right? Getting this right. And again, if you want some feedback, we're on it all the time. Ping us, message us on LinkedIn, email us at info@ascend-advisors. We'd love to just chat with you and whatever questions you have, we'll answer. But next, we're going to talk about really now, since that's in place, how do you use that properly to speed up the lead gen, speed up conversations, get meetings, get second meetings. We're going to really cover the stages over the next couple lives. So stay tuned. It's good to see you today. Bill,
Good selling, everybody.
We'll see you next time.